Welcome back to the Shred the Spread podcast. This is our week 16 best bets episode for the contest. As always, each and every week, you guys will get our 5 best bets against the spread for our season long contest. We've got dogs, we've got favorites, we got divisions, we've got interleague, we got it all. Before we get into our 5 best bets of the week, let me bring on my co-host, my right-hand man, my dude. Now, what's going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on, my guy? Back at it again for a damn near end of the season, bro. Week 16, that's been
Already.
flying by. Fucking motherfuckers, it's about to be Christmas next week. Like, what the hell is going on? But hey, glad to be back, bro. Ready to go ahead and bounce back from guess what? A 2-3 curse. Another 2-3 week.
Yeah.
But we're ready, ready to bounce back again, man. I feel like we got some good spots here. So yeah, let's go ahead and attack these lines.
Yeah, 2 things before we get started. Number 1, you guys know this is a Bengals podcast, and we are still hanging on by a thread. Me and Dino had a pretty long discussion off the podcast about the potential playoff picture for the Bengals, and it results in a lot of Broncos losses, a lot of Bengals winning. And there was a great start to that last night with the Chargers handling business. That is a step in the right direction for our Bengals futures. Obviously, we need the Bengals to handle business the rest of the year and the Broncos to fall apart. Might sound like a lot, but realistically, if you look at the schedule, not that too far off. So if there's a will, there's a way. So hopefully, we'll have a shot at that. Number 2, it's obviously around the holiday season, and with the Christmas games and all that stuff come up, I just do want to preface this for all of our loyal listeners that come back each and every week.
Yes.
First of all, thank you.
Yes,
Second of
indeed.
all, we are not sure on a schedule. I really am not sure what these contest lines are going to look like, or even if they even have them. I know, excuse me, they have all these Christmas games, so bear with us. Follow us on X at @shredthespread_. We may have to cram in an episode. We may have to post our picks on X, but do that.
Mhm.
Follow us on there for those of you guys who like to keep up with our picks. But like I said, we are not sure how this contest is going to play out for the next week. So it may just be a result in us completely skipping the Christmas games, but we do want to still give out our leans, sides, totals, props, whatever it may be for the Christmas games. So, like I said, follow us on X, stay up to date. We will give you guys an update of what we're going to do episode-wise, or if we have to just make a post on X. So, just want to get that out of the way before we get started. But you ready to get into it, Dino?
Yes, sir. Well said, by the way. Well said.
Awesome. Here we go.
Let's go.
Leading us off. Now, some of you guys would call us suckers. Some of you guys will say it's, whatever, taking the easy way out. But regardless, our contest lines lock. We're going to take advantage of when they do. And this line locked when Patrick Mahomes wasn't expected to play. So our first pick of the week is the Chiefs plus 2.5. And we liked this with Carson Wentz. Obviously love it with Patrick Mahomes. I'd play the Chiefs under 3 on the regular book, but in our contest, we have them plus 2.5. Obviously, we know this number does not exist anymore. However, we have to play our contest lines, and if we like the number at a favorite and they're giving us an underdog, we're obviously going to take it. So, the tickets cash the same in the contest. We're not going to, look past it. Give us the Chiefs plus 2.5. Really don't need to ramble on that anymore. Dino, why don't you give the second pick of the week?
Yep, the second pick of the week, we gonna back our guys, the Bengals minus 7.5 at home against the Browns. And honestly, it's just simply the fact that the Browns have benched Jameis Winston, so that boom bust whole approach of possibly getting 30 points in explosion is no longer there. And I get it. The Bengals defense has been bad all year, but they have kind of reeled in a little bit of a kind of like you saying some cohesiveness over the last couple of weeks, holding teams at least 20 points. If you can hold teams to about 20 to 25 points, You're gonna win that ball game. And honestly, I don't feel the Browns putting up no more than 17 points, 13. Honestly, 13 points. I feel like DTR is this is up for a tough task. Honestly, he's been played on years. He's been sitting back watching the whole entire time. He got injured the one time he came in. And I just don't feel like it's a good matchup for him. And I believe Joe Bango. I mean, I said Joe Bango. What the hell? Joe Burrow. I feel like I said, it's going to end in a shootout, and he's going to eventually just take over this game. And honestly, continue the case for that. They should make the playoffs.
Yeah, this Bengals team they've been cruising on all cylinders on offense. I don't expect that to stop. And if you guys like, we obviously backed the Bengals last week, but if you watched Joe Burrow on the sideline against the Titans when they were kind of like were letting the Titans hang in, like he was visibly frustrated, and he was talking to Zach Taylor. He was very frustrated with the current outcome of the game. He's like, we and John Boy Media does a really good breakdown of this, but there's two things that kind of look like came out of Joe Burrow's mouth. Number one was, we effing suck today. We should have
Yeah.
won by 80, but some
Hmm.
also took it as we're still going to be like 6-8 or whatever the hell he was saying.
Yep.
Regardless, they weren't happy with their offensive output. This is a division game, and we know that. But Dino already said DTR is a starting quarterback for the Browns. He is nothing special. He's going to tear off a little bit. He's going to dink and dunk. And really, without Jameis Winston, I mean, I hate to say this, but Jerry Jeudy is kind of nullified.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I don't expect really big plays from Jerry Jeudy. I think a lot of this shit is going to be 3-4 yard passes and see what they can do with the ball in their hands. But realistically, I think the Bengals put up 28 points. I think the Browns stay somewhere between that 14 to 17 range, and I think they handle business. The Bengals covered the last 6 of 8 or 5 of 7, whatever. It's last 5 of 7 or 6 of 8 versus the Browns. So they have their number. Their offense does really good against their defense, and I think this Browns defense is going to be on the field a lot. So, and you saw today, Myles Garrett visibly frustrated with the current direction of the Browns, and he wants to see a winning picture before he commits to a future. So, um, this Browns organization, they kind of are just they're putting the bow, no pun intended. They're putting the bow on the present and they're shipping it
Hmm.
in. They're not looking to be competitive for the rest of the year. So, Deshaun Watson, rumors of him being shopped around. You got Jameis Winston, who potentially might go be a backup somewhere else. Like, it's just not the best team to back here at the end of the season. With the
Right.
Bengals still have opportunity to make the playoffs. So, we're going to ride with our guys. The Stripes, the Bengals, -7.5. And this leads us to our third pick of the week. I do want to say I apologize. Dino and I, we apologize, but it must be done.
Right.
You
I
guessed it.
know.
The New York Jets +3.5. Oh, no, we did. We went back. I know. I know. Okay, hear me out. We're getting a buy low spot. Brees Hall has been in and out of the lineup. He's expected to play this week, and we obviously know when Brees Hall is there, that offense is a lot better. But we saw something last week from Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. They seem to be clicking again. And I'm not saying it looks as pretty as it did in Green Bay, but it looks a little better. The back shoulder passes are getting pretty much back to where they were. They're targeting Devontae Adams in the red zone, and they're actually lining up Devontae Adams a little bit more in the slot, even though Garrett Wilson is there. And we saw it on that, 71-yard touchdown. So Devontae Adams he's being moved around in this offense a little bit more, kind of like he was in Green Bay. Because if you guys remember, when Devontae Adams originally came over to the Jets, he was strictly on the outside. They let Garrett Wilson move around because he was a little bit more comfortable with the playbook. But now that Devontae Adams has been in New York for a little bit, he looks comfortable. They're moving him around. They're drawing up more plays for him. They're attacking him more. And if you look for the fantasy guys, Devontae Adams' targets has been going up and up and up, and Garrett Wilson's targets have been going down, down, down. So, not that this is good in any term for the Jets, but what it does mean is they're utilizing Devontae Adams to his potential. So, he's getting more target share, getting Brees Hall back. I expect the Jets to really go out there and stay competitive within this whole game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win. The Rams coming off 2 really big wins back to back. They beat the Bills in a high-scoring affair, and then they completely did the opposite with the Niners and won a low scoring affair. So they kind of snuck out 2 wins. I could see this as a letdown spot for the Rams. A little bit of foreshadowing some of that division. Maybe looking for this Rams loss. So I expect the Jets to go out there because, again, we hate to say this, but we know Aaron Rodgers has an ego, and it doesn't
Hmm.
matter if they have the 1 seed or they're clinching the last place team. He's going to go out there and try to show that he's good. So I expect that to be the same. Jets plus 3.5 is just such a good number, Dino.
I feel like the Jets are a dangerous team right now, considering the fact that there's no more expectation. There is
Right.
literally
Those are the
no more
scariest teams. Yeah, that's
expectation.
right.
Like the coach is already fired. It's already been a train wreck since the door. Everybody's playing loose. Everybody's just playing for their future team, or for example, the next season to reevaluate. And you see it. I mean, like I said, they just offensively they just moved the ball better. Even when they were down last week, Aaron Rodgers threw for 300 yards a couple weeks ago. What
Yeah.
the fuck? What in the absolute fuck? That hasn't happened all year. The year before that, like it's been a couple years since he threw for over 300 yards. Everybody is just kind of loose right now, you know. And the fact that there's uncertainty, like there's a little uncertain future going on right now. I feel like everybody's just putting the wayside. All right, well, fuck it. All right, let's ball. That's honestly what I think the mentality is there. So I feel like a Jets team playing loose, especially at home right now, in a situation where you can buy low, sell high. I feel like the Rams, like I said, eked out that 14-12 win. That was an ugly, ugly game. They barely eked that out. I just feel like, hey, like in a moment right now, what would the NFL be without some good drama, right? And what about like right now that the Rams have complete control of this division, and all of a sudden they lose it, but guess what? They Seahawks win. So now you have another facet. So I expect the playoff picture to get mucked up. I expect the playoff picture to get have a lot of drama to close these weeks, and I feel like the Rams are going to be a part of that by us honestly losing this week.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets go
Yeah,
out here and handle business.
honestly not.
Yeah, like I said, the offense looks like they're getting back. I mean, the defense is still too many question marks to, be extremely confident, but as long as they can get pressure on the quarterback, I mean, we know this Rams offensive line isn't anything special. Kyron Williams, he's going to run the ball 22 plus times, and it's going to be slow and methodic. And as long as the Jets don't get beat over the top by Puka and Cooper Cup, I think this game's going to stay pretty competitive. So we're rolling with the Jets this week. We apologize in advance. Dino, why don't you go ahead and give us the fourth pick of the week?
The fourth peak of the week, we have the Seahawks plus 3.5 at home behind that 12th man going against the Vikings this week. And I think the main thing, me and Jared was talking about is how fluent that this offense is starting to look. Yes, they sputtered the last week, I think the last two, whatever. But before Kenneth Walker got hurt, before Geno Smith really got dinged up in the last game, this offense have been pretty ideal. And to be honest with you, I kind of see this as a scheme play, right? You know that the Vikings are going to bring pressure. You know they're going to blitz, and you know they can stop the run. Well, that creates one-on-one matchups with who on the outside, DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. The offensive coordinator for the Seahawks have already said he's going to go ahead and give DK Metcalf more targets. And why not a best scenario right now? It's one-on-one situations and multiple times throughout the game. And Geno Smith is going to play. I think Geno Smith can really zip the ball still, man. And I feel like with Njigba and Metcalf, those are literally the two key factors of this game. I feel like the Vikings might be set for a letdown, and you can call me a Sam Darnold hater. You can call me a Sam Darnold hater if you want to, but honestly, this might be just one of the letdown games. He's been playing phenomenal. I'm not going to take that away from him, but this might be one of those letdown drop games there where they could take an advantage and take a lead towards the Lions, taking over the division, but they just fall short. And honestly, like you said, even if they do win, like I said, we got the hook at three. I'm 3.5, which is a key number. And like I said, we're back by the 12th man at home, and I feel like they're finally starting to get fully healthy again. Even with Geno Smith being dinged up, Kenneth Walker being back is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's right. Kenneth Walker being back, and you said something really that I really agree with, and it's the Vikings are going to bring pressure, and the Seahawks have probably one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL against blitz beater, the man beater, and it's DK for the strength and physical, and Jackson Smith and Jigba for finesse. So they got physical and finesse both on their side. and they can kind of attack it every which way they want to. So if the Vikings keep bringing pressure, Geno Smith is going to have opportunities to make big plays, and especially with Njigba over the middle, we know when he catches passes in the slot, he can run forever. So he's going to get a lot of targets. He's going to get a lot of looks. I expect him to be open. It's just going to be on him to make plays. Um, what it boils down to for me is Geno probably just played his worst game as a Seahawk, like
Yeah.
in his Seattle career, and obviously like these are things that you circle, and from a mental standpoint, they're things that you really want to you want to bounce back from, and he's I'm sure Geno has over prepared for this week. Like he's went over things multiple times. Like after having such a bad performance, and you still see the talent of this offense without Kenneth Walker. You saw Sam Howell come in last week and march right downfield and score a touchdown. So they have the pieces. It's just a matter of putting them together. So I like the Seahawks offense. I mean, their defense on the outside, like they're going to be facing Addison and Justin Jefferson, and the Seahawks corners, they're no pushover. Like they're very talented, and they're pretty solid keeping up with these receivers. I expect them to get their looks, but I mean, Sam Darnold's going to have to make some really competitive throws in order to get the ball downfield versus Seahawks secondary. So I think Kenneth Walker being back, takes a lot of pressure back off Geno Smith, and Charbonnet is a very talented running back.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we know Kenneth Walker is the workhorse that offense needs to survive. So he's there. The constant threat of the breakaway and the bully ball is back. I expect them to be more comfortable, and that's the biggest thing. They're at home. They're more comfortable. They got their piece back. Seahawks, it's going to be close. So this is definitely a letdown spot for the Vikings. I could see the Seahawks sneaking this game out. Kind of seems to be the theme this week. But give us the Seahawks plus 3.5. And this brings us to our fifth and final pick of the week. And this one I'm not going to ramble on as much as I usually do because this is very simple for me. It's the 49ers plus 1.5. For two things. Number one, the Niners have to win this game. I know Trent Williams is probably out. Most likely, there's talks of him being done for potentially the season, which
Hmm.
sucks. But this Niners team has one thing on their side, and that is scheme. And they're facing the Dolphins, which looks like Jalen Waddle isn't going to play. Uh, and they're facing a Dolphins team where Tua just kind of looks bad. Like, just to be blunt, he looks very bad. And their number one offensive weapon right now is Jonnu Smith. So I expect this Niners team to have complete control of this game. Like, their defense is still elite. They still have a lot of key pieces on offense. Like, Kittle's still there. Debo's still there. Jawan Jennings, I'm expecting a big game from him. There's just a lot of weapons on this 49ers offense where I just don't think the Dolphins have the secondary to keep up with all of them. But it's really going to come down to Brock Purdy making throws. And I know it looks like Isaac Guerrero may not play this week, which kind of does suck. But they've been a running back by committee team without McCaffrey anyway. I expect Patrick Taylor to step in there and be what that system needs. A consistent running threat, receiving out of the backfield, and, a lot of punch at the goal line. Maybe a little Kyle Juszczyk sprinkle on the touchdown. Maybe they use him around the goal line. I would say Debo Samuel rushing and receiving, but you never really know what the hell you're going to get from him. So, kind of might want to stay away from that. But this Niners team is just too talented to just kind of like go to sleep to the end of the season. So I expect them to show some fight, show some physicality, and this is a pretty solid team to do that against, especially when Tua is just struggling to get the ball downfield.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I said, we already know with the Miami Dolphins with Mike McDaniel as the coach, as the head coach, against good teams, he's generally come up short, especially with well coached teams. Now I get that the 49ers have been struggling; they've been down all year. But at the end of the day, they still have Kyle Shanahan as a schemer to scheme around Mike McDaniel. He knows Mike McDaniel very, very well. He knows Mike McDaniel's scheme, and I feel like this is one of those opportunities and situations where the teacher just kind of just beats the student at this point. The 49ers are trending in a decent, good direction, in a very decent direction. Yes, they lost that close game to the 49ers, but they did beat the brakes off the Bears and drop 30 points. I feel like this is a situation to where, like I said, Tua's not looking really the greatest. The offense hasn't got the running game going at all. I'm referring to the Dolphins. And the Dolphins can't put pressure on the quarterback. And when you give not Bryce Young, Jesus Lord, Brock Purdy time to time to throw the ball, it's gonna end up bad for you. Jawan Jennings is no slouch. George Kittle, no slouch, and they're like I said, they're just able to go ahead and move the ball downfield and make it a possible threat. And I don't believe the Dolphins defense has the pressure to stop it. I don't think they have the scheme to really stop it. And I just feel like they're gonna be outmatched coaching wise. So honestly, them at +1.5 to me is a steal. I got them winning outright.
Yeah, give us the Niners. Good spot, good bounce back spot for them.
Hmm.
I like I
Yeah,
said, dude.
by
And
by low.
don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I saw something last week where it was like the Dolphins against the spread versus teams over 500 and teams under
Yes,
500,
that's what I was
and
referring to. Yep.
the teams that now, not that the Niners are like the best team ever, but against well coached teams, the Dolphins struggle. So I expect that trend to continue, and we're gonna have to roll here with the Niners. So give us the Niners +1.5 to close it out. So that wraps us up. We've got the Chiefs +2.5, the Bengals -7.5, the Jets +3.5, Seahawks +3.5, and the Niners +1.5. That's gonna do it for us for our Week 16 best bets for the contest. Dino, any last words before we get out of here?
Same message as always, knuckleheads. This is the season of giving. So while we give you guys content, give us a follow at Shred the Spread _ on X. And then give me a follow as well at Dyneezy. That's at DYNEEZY. Let's keep this train rolling. We only got a few weeks left of the season. We'll probably do a little bit of episodes in the playoffs, but our season is almost coming to an end, guys. So make sure you guys tune in. Hey, we saved the best for last.
Yeah, like I said, stay up to date with us on X. We'll figure out what we're doing for the Christmas games.
Yep.
It
Mhm.
really just depends on what the contest looks like. But that'll do it for us for this week. And thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Shred the Spread podcast. And until next episode, we'll see you.
Peace.